Howdy, and welcome to Buckle Up Every Trip, Every Time, brought to you by the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension's Passenger Safety Program and the Texas Department of Transportation. This is a presentation to convince you on why it's just so important to always wear your seatbelt.
Hi, I bet you're wondering what that is and what you're doing here. Well, that's the rollover convincer. And these unlikely souls, along with yourself at home, are about to find out exactly what happens in a rollover crash. Well, I'm convinced. Safety belts just became my new BFF. Trooper Perez?
Hi, everybody. I'm Trooper Mike Perez with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and I've been asked to give you and everybody watching a little heads up. Local police, county sheriffs, and Department of Public Safety troopers will be out looking for people, especially people your age who aren't wearing their safety belts. And that includes people in the back seat. If we see you without a safety belt, we are going to write you a ticket.
That's part of the Click It or Ticket campaign, right?
Exactly. Zero tolerance. If you're not wearing your safety belt, you will receive a citation.
Well, I'm convinced. Remember to wear your safety belts. It can save you a lot of money and can save you from getting seriously injured.
Click it or ticket. You're going to be hearing a lot more of that later on in this presentation. That first video, no seatbelts on. What was the first part of the body that fell out of those vehicles, if you could see it? Because it happened so fast. Well, it was the head. Gravity takes its toll. The heaviest part of your body, the upper torso, is usually going to be the first thing that falls out of that vehicle. You're not just going to be ejected. You're going to hit the pavement first, and that vehicle is going to roll on top of you on top of that. Chances of you surviving are slim to none. Secondly, the second video that we saw there, behind the back or under the shoulders. This is a lot of what our younger kids are doing before they're able to transition from that booster seat into a normal adult seat belt. It's uncomfortable for them because they don't fit an adult seat belt properly. Therefore, they're placing his shoulder belt behind the back or under the arm. A lot of the myths that are out there. First of all, 2017, 83% of ejective occupants were killed. So those of you that say, oh, I'm just going to be thrown clear, I'll be fine. No, this does not happen. This is indeed a myth. Well, what if I'm trapped underwater? There's a fire going on. Well, if you're wearing your seatbelt, chances are you're going to be conscious. Therefore, you're not only going to be able to find your way out of that vehicle, but you'll be able to help others out who may be unconscious.
Passenger thrown into the air during crash. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a passenger of a crashing pickup truck being ejected into the air like he was shot from a cannon. Watch again as the man hurtles out of the passenger window before backflipping like Greg Louganis and crashing to the ground. The stunning footage was caught on dash cam by the driver of another vehicle on Sunday in Brazil's central Goiás state. The passenger flies into the air as the pickup truck he was traveling in flips over and skids off the road. The driver of the pickup was uninjured. He got out and ran to the passenger, who was thrown further down the road. Incredibly, the passenger survived his leap into the unknown with just a few fractured bones and was said to be in stable condition.
Well, how about that? Don't gamble with your life. Needless to say, this passenger was extremely lucky to have survived this crash. In a light truck, seat belts reduce the risk of fatal injuries by 60%. This is a good example of catapulting. What I mean by that is that when the truck is rolling, when the car is rolling, you will catapult out of it, meaning that the first responders are going to find you several yards away from the actual crash site where the car stopped during the roll. This is one example of someone's life that was spared, but again, these statistics here on the screen, don't gamble with your life. So what is the Texas state law? Remember what Trooper Perez said, they're out there, they're looking for you. If there's a seatbelt in the vehicle, put it on. They're going to be not only looking for the driver, but the passenger in the front. They're going to be looking for the passengers in the middle seat, as well as the rear, especially the younger kids, teenagers and below. This law includes vehicles up to 15 passenger vans, meaning vans that have seats for 15 occupants. Anything above that is essentially a bus. Those are indeed exempt. Your citations are up to $200. So again, it's not a cheap ticket. Again, click it or ticket, because they are out there and they are going to get you.
Hey, thanks a lot for helping. I'm sure you saw the crane. We're going to take it, hook it up to the car, drop it 30 feet straight down, nose first. Ready?
Seriously?
What?
No.
Oh my gosh. No, thank you.
If you crashed going 30 miles per hour, it could be something like this. If you wouldn't go for a ride like this, why would you ever think about riding without your seatbelt buckle? Buckle up. Every trip, every time. Visit teendriving.statefarm.com.
A simple 30-mile-per-hour crash. This is you driving through your normal average neighborhood. Speed limit's 30, 35 miles per hour. 30-mile-per-hour crash, hitting a very hard surface or a head-on collision, anything of that nature. That's what it looks like, my friends. If you're not wearing your seatbelt, you're going through the windshield or worse. Let's talk about pickup trucks now. Why do they roll? Well, they're heavier up on top. They have a higher center of gravity, higher off the ground. So they're going to roll a lot easier than your normal low to the ground sedan would, in other words. This includes your SUVs, your Jeeps as well.
It doesn't matter what you drive. You're not above the law. Drivers and passengers. Click it or ticket.
You think they survived this crash? That's what's left of a Ford F-250 3/4-ton diesel. How many times do you think they flipped in that truck? Here's these two kids here. Teens, I should say. Ethan, age 17. Trey, age 14. They're on their way to a livestock show in Bell County back in February of 2009. The two escaped this criminal mess because of the use of their seat belts as well as the deployment of the airbags. And here's their story today.
It was pitch black. The last thing I remember is him saying, "Oh man, oh man." A loud pop happened, and I wasn't sure if it was a tire or what it was, but we jumped over a culvert and then hit a rock wall and flipped one time. I remember Trey just laying there limp. Kind of woke back up, and then all I remember is seeing that wall. My first instinct was find a way out. Got to the hospital, and I remember people coming up to me saying, "Man, you're lucky. You can look at the truck, and it is just twisted." It can mess with you. The thoughts of what could have happened if we weren't wearing seatbelts. It's definitely an eye-opener. That is the only reason we are here. I get chills saying that. We would not be alive.
This is one of many success stories of Texans, people throughout the state of Texas traveling through, who were indeed wearing their seatbelts, having similar car crashes because of the fact that they were indeed wearing their seatbelts. You heard Trey talking. Trey was the driver. He said we heard a loud pop. He wasn't sure at the time if it was a blowout, but indeed it was a blowout. Whenever you think you hear a tire blowout, loud pop, go ahead and pull over safely and check, just because once that metal rim, as you see on the screen here, makes contact with the pavement, you're going to lose control, and lose control pretty quick too. And you're not going to be able to control it. Therefore, the likelihood of you having a rollover crash or just running off the road is very, very high. You heard him say he only rolled the truck one time, but they hit this rock wall over here. They hit a culvert, rock wall. These trucks are not indestructible. We think these are just big, awesome pickup trucks. I don't need to wear my seat belts. No. Take this for an example. Wear your seat belts. So let's talk about things inside the vehicle itself. Take a look inside your vehicle when you're going home today, whether you're the passenger or the driver. Think, my goodness, could that hurt me? Could that hurt me? These are good items inside your vehicle. Let's take your cell phone, for instance. Everybody's got to have their cell phone in their car, right? This is going to be like a bullet, a missile, flying projectile while you're rolling. You saw in the rollover convincer in the first video how fast things are moving. These items are not going to stay put. They're going to be flying, and if they hit you in the head just right, you could have a serious injury, if not a fatality. And if with multiple occupants inside the vehicle, all it takes is one person to be unbuckled to bounce around inside that vehicle, causing catastrophic damage. This also includes your child safety seats, ensuring that these child safety seats are indeed buckled into the car, the truck, whatever, properly.
This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend so hard she ends up with permanent brain damage.
I can never get enough of a man like you. Do me one more, once and ever. With a man like you.
3 dead in this vehicle. The girl is critical. They say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
3 dead in this vehicle. The 4th one's critical. They say the guy without the seatbelt did all the damage. It took that one person in the back seat who went forward into the front seat and then went back into the back seat. Himself, the girl in the back, and one of the people up in the front were killed, with the 4th rather, critical. This is what happens when that one person does not wear their seatbelt. Catastrophic damage throughout the entire vehicle. And think if you're that adult who's like, I don't need to wear my seatbelt, but you got the little ones, the younger kids, the innocent ones in their child safety seats. You're not going to stay put, my friend, and your body-to-body contact with that child in that seat. It's going to be, again, I use the word catastrophic. Take a look at this photo right here. These 2 young ladies, teenagers. You have Miss Kaylee Mills there on the left. This was the last photo, last selfie, if you will, taken on October the 28th of 2017.
On October 28th, we responded to a motor vehicle accident. As we were responding, we realized that it was going to be a pretty bad accident, just from the information the dispatch center was giving us. We arrived on scene, and it was bad. I remember pulling up in the truck. We were the first ones there, just kind of looking out and saying it was eerily dark. There was a lot of panic on the scene. There was a vehicle had obviously flipped. We approached the victims. We're checking the victims. Then I realized that I knew the victim.
We saw a car flipped upside down. It was dark, and it was a black car, which is what she had. At that moment, we knew it wasn't a minor accident.
I knew that we would probably start having a lot of the family arrive very soon. So I kind of mentally prepared myself for some very tough conversations. You know, it's one of the worst feelings I've ever had as I see David running up to the scene. Of course, I know David. I know what has happened in this scene. I know David doesn't know what has just happened on the scene.
The fireman that was on the scene broke the news to me that she had died. And I just collapsed and started screaming, and I kind of blacked out for a minute and couldn't understand or grasp that it was real and didn't want to believe it.
It wasn't until later that we were told that Kaylee wasn't the driver. She was in the car with 3 other teenagers. But Kaylee was the only one that wasn't wearing her seatbelt.
When they told us that she didn't have her seatbelt on, we knew that if she had her seatbelt on, she would still be here today.
The crew is responding to a motor vehicle accident right now, and I've responded to thousands of motor vehicle accidents over the last 21 years. It's very simple, very easy. Seatbelts save lives. They save lives every day, all day long. I have made very few fatality accidents where we've had to cut a seatbelt off of somebody that is dead. It just doesn't happen. We make fatality accidents when people do not wear their seatbelts. You never know how a family is going to react to losing a child. I can't imagine. It's probably my worst fear. But we've all seen what David and Wendy and Logan, how they've responded and what they have done in remembrance of Kaylee is amazing. And I can't help but think of the thousands of kids and people in general that have been impacted and the number of lives that have been saved because of what David and Wendy do on a daily basis.
She touched a lot of people's lives. She was a leader. Everybody loved to be around her, the type of person that would just light up your day. And her death has really opened a lot of people's eyes of how important it is to buckle your seatbelt. So we're going to continue to spread the message of the importance on wearing seatbelts, and, you know, if it just saves one life, then it's worth it.
Buckle up for Kaylee.
I want you to please visit their website also, Kaylee Mills Foundation. This trailer that you see, we actually have possession of it through the Texas Department of Transportation, their media campaign, as well as the Kaylee Mills family. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, Passenger Safety, has this in Bryan, Texas, and it can be transported to your community for an event, spread the awareness, sharing Kaylee's story about seatbelts. Hopefully, with time permitting, David and Wendy Mills can actually come to your event to actually speak. As you saw in this video, very, very powerful statements that'll be put out there, very powerful story, and it's going to be making quite the impact in your community, to say the least. It's going to conclude our presentation. If you would, please check out our Facebook page as well, Passenger Safety Project. This is just one of many programs that we actually offer. We also have a child passenger safety program, ensuring children are secured to the vehicle as well as in the seatbelts correctly. We also have a distracted driving program on top of that, using simulators. So please check us out, see what we have. And again, thanks to the Texas Department of Transportation, these programs are available to you for free. If you have any questions, you can contact Miss Bev Kellner. She's our program manager. She controls everything over this whole program. Rosalinda Marez controls our scheduling, or you can contact myself, Mike Guidry. Please email us if you would, please. In the end, as we've been saying, buckle up every trip, every time. It will save your life.